and gentlemen, errors happen in every newsroom. But admitting to those errors, maintaining transparency and not hiding the truth is the responsibility of a news organization. But unlike Times Now, not all news organizations seem to be practicing this. Take the example of The Wire magazine, which first admitted to playing a story based on fake information and then unabashedly went on to defend it as well. It was only after tremendous pressure the digital portal apologized for a series of stories it ran on Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. The Wire had published that on instructions from the BJP IT cell head Amit Malviya, an Instagram post was taken down by Instagram within minutes. It also claimed that it had a subsequent email from Meta's Andy Stone where he was livid at the leaked report that said, how the hell did this get out? Clearly showing that Wire had such great access into email accounts of Facebook and Meta. But in reality, this email address did not even exist. The Wire then posted a video to back its claim, but that video proved to be fake as well. Now the independent experts, The Wire, had claimed that they authenticated their fake video with have also called out The Wire's fakery. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one of the experts told Times Now that despite his denials, The Wire published the report saying he didn't wish to be named, but the truth is that he didn't validate the report. The Wire now says that it has been deceived by a member of its Meta reporting team. That's all. So this was just a mistake, according to The Wire. What about those fabricated stories? What about the due diligence? What about the editorial concerns that they should have had? What about lying about those experts who clearly said that they didn't even want to participate, and despite that The Wire published these stories? The BJP has now gone on the offensive, and BJP IT cell head Amit Malviya has said that he will initiate a criminal and a civil suit as well against The Wire. We've also spoken to the editor of Wire, but let me go across to my colleague Siddharth Talia joining me on this story. Siddharth, just how did this happen? You know, one fakery over another, one lie after another. Does that really give away the journalism model followed by The Wire?
Well, this is, what many people call, Navika, an elaborate hoax. Now, The Wire has continued to defend the manner in which it approached the story, at least in its initial stages, but then, of course, had to retract all these stories and then issue an apology. And there are layers and layers, Navika, of alleged fabrications here. It almost appears as if to cover up one alleged fabrication, you came out with another. At least that's the allegation against The Wire in this specific case. So what did The Wire claim, and how was its alleged fakery actually called out? Let's go through some of those claims as well as counterclaims here. First and foremost, The Wire claimed that there was an internal report that has been managed to that they managed to access from Instagram's internal portal, which they claim showed how Amit Malviya, the head of the BJP IT cell, had Instagram posts that were critical or satirical in their take on the government actually taken down. Now, what did actually happen and what was eventually exposed? This internal report that The Wire had actually claimed was authentic turns out to be a fabrication as well. So that's the one layer of fakery that we're talking about. Then they refer to an email that was sent by a Meta spokesperson, Andy Stone, to his own colleagues, where he is absolutely livid at the fact that this internal report has gotten out, and he says, how the hell did this leak actually happen? At least that's the quote that's been attributed to Andy Stone in that specific email. That email to Navika turns out to be fake. That Andy Stone's email was actually fake is something that was eventually established once again, where The Wire actually failed to authenticate it. Then Wire comes out with another article where they say that we've gone through an internal process where we've managed to authenticate Andy Stone's original email. They also say that the source from Meta has managed to access the internal report by logging into Instagram's internal server. They come out with that video as well. Both those videos are now being proven, at least by several social media experts as well as independent experts, the Wire claimed had been contacted to validate this authentication process. They've also said we were never contacted, and these mails and this authentication process too has now been alleged to be fake. So that's the third layer of alleged fakery. The final one, of course, is where they claim that independent experts that they'd gotten in touch with had authenticated Wire's process of validating these emails as well, and that too turns out to be fake, because both these experts have now come out in the public domain, Navika, and say that they were never contacted, that they never were part of this entire reportage process that the Wire had initiated against Meta. So layer upon layer, like we discussed earlier, of alleged fakery that now stands exposed.
Fall through and the real story comes out, and now the Wire has put out a statement, and the Wire statement pins blame on the expert. They absolve themselves from the fakery. That's the big breaking news. They also say that given fraudulent information, and after fakery they are now playing the victim card. They suspect an outside hand to target Wire and discredit them in this attempt, because Wire is such a free and independent news organization. Well, what can I say? Thank you, Siddharth, for that update, and let me get in the Poonavala brothers, Shehzad versus Tehseen. And Shehzad, victim card. There is a foreign hand which is trying to expose the Wire. That's what they say. And 4 layers of due diligence. They say the information was fraudulent. Now, isn't it the job of journalists to check on information and decide whether it's fraudulent or not before they put it in public domain? Or is it something that dawns upon them later?
Ironically, Navika, after 2014, those who have become self-styled watchdogs and who are labeling others as Godi Media, etc., they are nothing but corrupt lapdogs of a particular ecosystem. And now they are blaming somebody XYZ, but there is a history sheet of this haywire caravan of lies. And let me just tell you the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks what they have done. Tech Fox story against BJP, so-called BJP's hate machine, fake. They have deleted the story. Story on Amit Malviya ji and Instagram, fake. Retracted the story. Story on Pegasus, Supreme Court junked it into a dustbin. Story on Nobel Peace Prize for 2 so-called fact checkers, false. Story on blaming Mahakumbh and Hindus for corona spread at a time when the Kerala model was the one responsible, now completely exposed. The Kerala model is still in tatters. And see, these people take money from the public and they make judgments on other media houses. There are 2 or 3 things I want to add. This is a calculated, malicious disinformation campaign that they have been running. 2, where are the so-called non-working editors in this editors guild? Because all of them are non-working. Smita Prakash just said it on. Most of them are not in editorial position, but they are part of editors guild. Aaj kidhar hai ye sare log? Haan, if it would have been some other network, they would have been standing and patronizingly telling them. And third, Amit Malviya ji, the reason why they have targeted him. Amit Malviya, I've spoken to him many times about this. He said that he doesn't mind these, ragtag organizations targeting him. But they want to defame India. They want to target a nationalist. And therefore, they made Amit Malviya the target, so that if a message is sent out that this is how we can target somebody like Amit Malviya, all the nationalists who stand up for India and stand up against Bharat Badnami Brigade, they would be intimidated. Today, I thank Amit Malviya for taking this step, because only somebody who has a courage of conviction for standing up for Ma Bharati can take this step.
Well, Tehseen Poonavala, my question is, mistakes can happen. Any journalism expert can tell you that mistakes happen in a newsroom. But there are some bona fide mistakes which happen due to an oversight, and you admit to them, because especially on a television channel, there is news every second that comes in, and sometimes you might make a mistake. The question here is that these same organizations have a roaring time having opinion about other people. I want to ask you, they have an opinion about anybody, and everybody's journalism is yellow journalism except their own. But when it comes to them, they play the victim card. And my question is not about an oversight. An oversight can be seen as one. In this case, email addresses are concocted, experts who have never been contacted, experts who have never said anything on an issue have been quoted, and certificates got from them, and videos which don't exist have been tried to be put out to take a stand. It is only after 4 layers of this defense collapses that they finally come out and says, "Bhai, we can't carry this too far," and then they come out and say there is an external hand which is trying to do this to defame them. How does that sound to you?
The government of liars, which is today after the wire, the proponents of Deen Dayal Upadhyay WhatsApp University are today shocked that somebody's made a bona fide mistake.
Oh,
make mistakes.
no, this is not a bona fide. That's why I ask you. If it was a bona fide mistake, my friend, I was the last person who would quibble about it. But this is not a bona fide mistake. 4 layers. Wrongly quoting experts only to hide your own tracks and your own fraud and fakery. Tehseen, is that bona fide? Is that?
They have apologized. They have said that they're going to have better surveillance. They have said that they are ready to face legal action, whatever it is. And Mr. Malviya is free to go to court or wherever he does deem fit to whatever authority. But the fact of the matter, somebody stood up and owned up to a mistake that they made, bona fide or mala fide. The courts will now decide, as Mr. Malviya has gone. But the fact is, those who are experts in Deen Dayal Upadhyay WhatsApp University, the debate before this, the Honorable Law Minister was spreading some new history that is being created.
But the same people have dragged these people to court,
It is almost like the devil's preaching the scriptures. The devil out here, the government preaching the scriptures. Please tell the BJP to stay out of it.
That's the unkindest of cuts, especially when you made a mistake. You could actually be a little humble about it. And now they say that it's actually
जिनकी फितरत न्यूज लॉन्डरिंग की होती है ना, न्यूज लॉन्डरिंग, आप समझ गए ना, ये न्यूज लॉन्डरिंग वाले ना ये वर्च्यू आउट ऑफ अ नेसेसिटी भी करते हैं. मींस लुक, दे इलेक्शन हारते तो मॉरल विक्ट्री, और यहाँ पर पकड़े गए चोरी चुप्पे जो कांड रहे थे तो सॉरी बोल दिया, बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक थी. अरे बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक इतनी लंबी संख्या, एक 9 PM का एंकर है, सॉरी टू से इट, रबिश रिपोर्ट दिखाता है, वहां पर शाहरुख अनुराग बन जाता है, और ये भी बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक होता है. और ऐसा मिस्टेक मान लीजिए कि कोई टाइम्स नाउ चैनल कर लेता और अनुराग को शाहरुख बता देता, तो क्या होता है इकोसिस्टम में. मैं तो सिर्फ इतना कहता हूं, तहसीन पूनावाला, बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक जो भी मिस्टेक है, आज जो एडिटर्स गिल्ड कहां है आपका? Editors Guild तो बड़ा एक्टिव रहता है.
Deep slumber sometimes, because it happens in winters. Hibernation is the way to go. That's what probably the Editors Guild is in, hibernation. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much, Tehseen and Shehzad, for joining me on the News Hour. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for watching the News Hour at 9. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel, and the same show, the News Hour at 9.